All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in and listening to this interview with Lucinda Day from Big Sky Sportswear Incorporated. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company, Lucinda, and where you guys are located and kind of how you started out?
I'm located in Fruitland, Idaho, which is on the Oregon-Idaho border, and it's a screen printing embroidery shop. It's a small business, except for in our town, it's kind of bigger than the other ones, but it's a very small town. And I started out as an in-home embroidery business, and then I purchased an existing screen printing business and merged them in 2005.
What year did you start out doing all this?
In 2000 was when I started with the embroidery in my house.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So you've been at this quite a long time then.
I have.
All right. So you've been doing the embroidery. Do you, what else do? Do you do screen printing and stuff like that too? Or
We do screen printing, and we do sublimation and vinyl.
how long have you been with us with PriceIt Software? I think I was looking earlier. Was it around 2014 that you started using
Yes.
PriceIt Software? Oh, cool. What were you using before that? Do you remember?
Yeah, QuickBooks.
We hear that a lot. And so what made you look at PriceIt, and what made you think, I need something here? What was it that was going on and what was happening?
It just takes a while to get a price quote together. And also, if you're training new people, there's a pretty good learning curve to be able to price something out. And it was just very nice to be able to put the number of colors or the number of stitches in it, and it kicks out a price for you. It was amazing.
That's great. That's what PriceIt does. Now tell me, what have you noticed about since using PriceIt? What are some of the things that have been better for you, or how has it really benefited you since you started using it? Obviously you've talked about quotes and all that, but tell me a little bit how it's helped you with your business.
Well, I'm able to print out a work order, which obviously you're not able to do in QuickBooks.
Right.
And if it's a repeat order, it's got the artwork already in there. We can show that to the customer and say, this is what you want. And they say yes. And while we're waiting on them here in the shop, we can just kind of get it all done that way. And also, if we are doing things more remotely, we can email the proofs for them so that we have it, make sure that we have all our ducks in a row and that we are getting the customer what they want.
Oh, that's great. So you're able to get responses using the proofing system that we now have
Yes.
in PriceIt Master. And so it's helping you get responses back. How did you do it before? What was the process before you started using PriceIt to do that?
We would save JPEGs, from the Illustrator or program, and then just email them to the customer, attach it to an email.
But you are finding that, with the proofing system, you're able to send out a proof and get them to approve it or deny it, right? And then they can initial off on it. You always have some sort of signature from them that they signed off on it, so to speak. I'm sure that brings you some peace of mind as you start working on an order.
Right. And it's a lot more efficient. It's we do it more quickly, without having to. A lot of times you get sent to the junk mail for sending attachments, and then you have to call them and say, hey, we sent you something.
Chasing them down, right? So
Right.
you're finding less time chasing your customers around with some of these features?
Right. Yes. It's been very good.
Oh, good. And are you on a version now where the texting feature are you using that at all? Or is that something you've incorporated yet into your PriceIt?
We haven't. We were looking at it and just have not done it yet, but it would be very handy because obviously a lot of people just text anymore, and rather than emails, or if they don't want the phone calls and
Absolutely.
because of it's probably somebody about their vehicle warranty or whatever.
Or digitizers.
Oh yeah.
No, but yeah, we're finding that, obviously we do a lot of work ourselves in our own shop here in Vermont, where we do a lot of work for contractors, and those guys aren't sitting behind a computer at work. They're out on a roof, or they're under a house, or they're in their truck, or they're traveling to the next job site. And we're finding, not only in our own use, but from customers that have incorporated that feature, that that contractor's able to look at that text come in, click a link, and then just be able to reply to a proof and approve it, or say an invoice or an estimate. They're able to make payments and approve those sort of things. So I'm looking forward to getting that implemented with you, Lucinda. what you'll want to do is go on over to Twilio and sign up for an account. I think it's $1 a month and a penny a message, and we'll help you through all that, get it set up. And if you need any sort of updates to your PriceIt, we'll take care of that for you as well. That's encouraging to hear. So what is the features that, out of all the features that are there, which are the ones that are the most important to you, or what are the ones that you've seen have had the biggest impact on your company?
Obviously the pricing thing, and being able to just not have to dig through papers. You have different stages that an order is in. They're on the new order board, or they're on the waiting to get the product in board, or they're on the embroidery board, or back at the screen printing area. So we can just look and see what jobs need to be done. And when a customer calls in and says, hey, what about my order? You can look them up real quick and just tell them there, rather than running around the shop and finding their order.
Oh, so you're finding yourself being able to answer questions quicker and just have a better handle on what's going on in your shop.
Right.
That's great. Now, you obviously have been able to take advantage of some of these newest developments we've had over the years. I think one of them is that task indicator that lights up that tells you, like, if you've ordered garments and things like that. Has that been a help to you as well, where you're able to kind of just glance at an order and kind of know where you're at with it? Yeah,
absolutely. When a customer calls, and we've had problems lately, like everybody has, with product being out of stock and different things like that. So it gives us, like, if the customer does want an back order, it keeps it in the system so we don't forget to order it 2 months later or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely helpful. Some of the other features that obviously are in the version that you're using, there must be some sort of satisfaction when you're able to send items to QuickBooks and not have to do any double entry. Are you still using QuickBooks? Are you still using it for your business?
Yes.
You are. And so you push data to QuickBooks every day, I would imagine.
Yes.
And so how's that worked out for you? Is that saved you a lot of time and effort and all that stuff, the double entry and all that? Have you found that?
Yeah, it really does save a lot of time. We can, see what orders, people are paying on and stuff. If you have a customer that has several different locations or whatever, then it's easy to look it up and see which one they're paying on, because you have the list view rather than clicking through everything that's not paid, basically.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
You can do the report, but then you have to expand it. And
now, you obviously have seen the costing. How often do you look into that? Do you ever kind of look at it and just sort of double check everything?
Yes. I'm very big on math, because that's a good way to go out of business really quick.
For folks that don't know what a costing tab is in PriceIt, it's basically this section of it's a feature that will allow you to, first of all, if you go set up your expenses in the overhead estimator, it's basically answering some questions and getting your budget put in there, or yearly expenses and number of employees, running a calculation. It takes that number, that calculation, and then it takes into account all the costs associated with printing a shirt or whatever you're doing. And it shows you, are you really making money on this job? And that seems to be a very important feature to a lot of people. They can basically plug in how much time they spent on it, how many thread changes there were, color matching, how long they spent making screens, and then click the calculate button and find out exactly where that rubber meets the road. So it's really a powerful tool, and hoping that, as folks take a look at that, they continue to take advantage of that, because it's really, it really is powerful, and it really helps keep things on track. So, do you use our PaySit, our pay link system at all? Do you send out people make payment links and things like that?
I do not use that.
Okay. All right.
Like I say, we're mostly in a small town. So, we get checks from, the schools or the different businesses and stuff like that. Gotcha.
Okay. All right. What is probably the biggest difference you've seen using PriceIt now, and then before you using PriceIt? Like, what is the biggest benefit, and what are some of the biggest differences you've seen in your business since you've been using PriceIt?
It's just more organized. When I initially purchased the business, it was the system that they had, I didn't think worked out real well. And, we had a sea of white paper for one thing, and it was just like, it was hard to find anything. So we started color coding, how we do things. Blue paper is embroidery, pink paper is screen printing, yellow paper is a vinyl. And that kind of helped out a lot. So so this just kind of further organized our business so that when we print out the work orders, we're still printing them on the colored paper and everything. And it's a huge time saver. You can just kind of do at a glance what it would take several minutes to do before,
Shuffling through paperwork and all that stuff. Yeah. Now, how do you find that feature? We obviously are integrated with a bunch of vendors. So we have SNS and Alpha and Sanmar and a bunch of others. How useful have you found that information, like in your putting in your orders and things like that?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, you don't have to go look at the price of different things. And, every once in a while you'll go in or you'll have a vendor that isn't on the thing and you have to go look at the price, add it, add the product into there and then it'll do the prices or new product or whatever. So that is huge. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's good to hear. Cause, we do parse that data, hand parse it, so to speak. There's not a whole lot of automation that goes into that. And Brian or usually somebody else will spend literally weeks working on that.
And I appreciate it.
Oh.
I do. More than you know.
Well, thank
I know
you.
he does. I know he works very hard.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, while we're on that subject, I mean, what's your opinion of the customer support experience you've had so far?
You guys are amazing. I mean, you're always available. You're quick to answer questions, quick to take care of problems. And I like having a real person to be able to, rather than just trying to look up things on the internet, how to do things. And you guys are just awesome. I cannot say enough good things about you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. And it certainly is encouraging to us because we do work very hard because we understand how hard you guys work. And we do it ourselves. We have our own shop here. So we get it. We understand, how hard it is. And thank you. Appreciate that. What about, as you've seen development happen, what do you think of our development response?
Yeah, you guys are very open to suggestions. And since you're not just a software developer, since you actually do screen printing and embroidery in your place, you have a better clue on how things are done, not just somebody that doesn't know and then they're making something that they think will be better for us. And so, yeah, you've been awesome about, listening.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's I'll pass that along to Ron. Definitely. Thank you. What would you say to like a screen printing shop now that's, either maybe they're starting out or they're not using anything right now? What would you say to them? What kind of advice would you give somebody right now, regarding the use of software like ours? And, what would you say to them?
Somebody that's not in my impact area. If it was in my impact area, I'd say, stick with QuickBooks, it works. But otherwise, I would highly recommend your company. I really would.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So,
I was going to tell you that I was on this embroidery line list or something that we got emails, and the person that referred you was Carrie, I think it was Sunflower up in Washington.
Oh, wow.
So they're, referrals are huge, in the industry. And she's the reason I started working with you.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
It was Carrie?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'll have to thank her again. That's great. All right. Well, Lucinda, I do thank you so much on such a late notice to take some time out to talk with us about PriceIt. And we're hoping that people will hear some of your words and take them to heed and maybe check out PriceIt on their own. And we wish you the best and hope you have a great weekend. And thanks again for trusting us with helping you manage your shop.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.